Hey, beautiful people, good afternoon to you. I hope this finds you all well. So, I want to share this with you. I got asked towards the end of last week, Shane, how do you connect with the information that's coming through? How do you connect with the other side? Beautiful question. One that I've explored and shared for on many occasions. The core and the key of it is that what I've understood after all these years is that it's about deep listening. It's about becoming very present with who you are, how you feel, so that you can discern the difference as that contact is being made. So as that contact's being made, you can sense subtly any changes within how you feel, how you sense, what you think even. And that's really, really kind of, at the core, it's the fabric. It is the very thing, because it's, people say, do you go to spirit? Do you go to them? No. They come to you. I think there is I know there is a sense of meeting in the in-between. So metaphorically, it's as if you go through the hedge, you move into the cracks between places, you move into the liminal, so you kind of drop, and as you drop into a very strong sense of self, so you can discern. So suddenly I get a sense of, I know I'm not alone. I look into the room and there's just me here, but I sense I'm no longer alone. Then I sense a feeling of a female vibration, and then I get a sense of pain underneath my arm, underneath my armpits. I feel a swelling, and then I get this feeling of something moving through me. I then know that that person passed with a cancer vibration and it was into the lymph nodes. How you know that is through completely having a strong sense of self. I can remember one time where I'm coughing, and I said to, this was several years back, and I said to the two ladies that I was consulting for, I just need to go and get some more water. I realised that I'd run out of water, and as I'm passing them to leave the room, I say, I have had a chesty cough, but this is not me. This is not all of me. It felt like what we call a body response, a triggered response from spirit. This gentleman, he went with lung cancer, and the lady looked really, really shocked and went, oh my God, yes, absolutely. So without the experience, without the deep sense of self, I could have put that down to, I started to communicate, I started to talk, irritated chest, cough, that had been lingering, and it had been triggered, and it was just having a bout, a flare up. But I knew there was something within that I knew as I walked past them, that this wasn't just all me. And if I hadn't sensed that, then we could have missed that vital piece of information. How you connect with that vital piece of information is that it's not all to do with the eyes. The information that you come into contact with is beyond what you see. It's about seeing it through your heart, through your gut, through your knowing. And I think that is vital for the times that we live in. Like this morning, I went down to the buffet, and as I'm walking along the path, I'm greeted by the sunflowers, the little guy sunflowers, are just burst into life. They're just about to open up. Really beautiful transition, beautiful moment. As they begin to kind of open up, burst into life. And I sat there and I was kind of feeling the kitchen garden. I was just deeply listening and sensing, and there is this real sure feeling that we are tipping into autumn. That's not altogether just seen, and you can see it. The courgettes plants are coming to the end of their life cycle. I mean, we've probably had over 60 to 70 courgettes from those plants. It is all in change, but it is beyond what you see. It's also what you feel within the liminal, within the cracks between, within the subtle. I think that is really, really vitally important as we move forward and we navigate this world that we're in. Without a shadow of doubt, I really am aware that there is this two world split happening, and you could see it in a very literal way of moving into what is a more of a natural way of living, more of what seems to be more organic, more kind of has more authenticity or more realness to it, and to what is maybe more rushed, more hurried, what seems to be more artificial. There is this two world split happening. And I think as we navigate, this change that we all find ourselves in, and I think that's the other thing for me, is kind of deep listening has opened me up not just to the innate and to spirit, but also the collective consciousness, the collective field, which is why I think that the innate has nudged me into holding those spaces and those open rites and ceremonies and those rituals to kind of bring community together, bring the collective together, because it is through the collective that we move from harm to healing. And the cycle of return, I really do believe, is where we're woven back into the centre, all of what is more natural, all of what is more real, all of what is more tangible, and importantly, understanding that that we are in a time where we need to discard everything that we are not, everything that does not contribute to our growth, and to find out who we really are, and then to kind of almost hold that and visualize that highest version of ourselves, and then start showing up as that. We are the new ancestors, and we need to act accordingly. As the innate says, radical responsibility, radical truth, radical compassion. These are the times that we're living through. So I can see that those, and I as I look out as well, I see all these pockets of communities taking hold, happening, birthing, and innately communities that are not centrally organized. They are self-organized. They are organically organized. They are spontaneously happening and birthing. And there's this deep sharing of wisdom, this deep sharing of skills, this deep sharing of knowledge. And it's all about kind of moving everything into the greatness and into fullest potential. And I'm really feeling blessed that I'm a part of an overlapping kind of combination of 3-4 communities that overlap at some level, and I flow between them. and sharing and adding value, as well as learning and enhancing. Um, and there's something really special about that, but none of that is driven by um, one centralized power. It's all self organized, and the deep thread of that intention is to share and to enhance and to grow and to flourish and to thrive. It's such a beautiful thing. So I can see why the innate were nudging me into those rites and ceremonies and those communities, because it is collectively how we move from harm to healing. That is how we move from harm to healing, is through collectivity. And that's the other thing that I find, is that when you kind of listen very deeply, you can kind of sense that collective field, that collective consciousness. And it is about us, as we move through the world, understanding how we navigate the world around us, as we navigate this shift and this two world split, is that it's not all to do with what we see. It's about and it's not even learning. I was about to say, it's about learning to see with our hearts and our guts. It's not actually about learning, it's about remembering to see with our hearts and our gut. Shine and set an example, and let those who have eyes see and those who have ears hear. And the key, though, and the core is, in order to see clearly, your eyes must be rendered blind to all illusions. And the only way we do that is by absolutely feeling the energy behind the words. So when someone stands in front of us, is whatever they communicate, we need to kind of feel beneath it, behind it, around it, through it. Go in deeply. Is it in resonance with the energy behind the words? And then we need to discard everything that we are not. Everything that does not contribute to our growth, and find who we really are. That's that whole thing of being rewoven back into the centre, the cycle of return, and moving from harm to healing. And then it's about visualizing the highest version of ourselves. And actually, beyond that, it's about that highest version of ourselves being unlocked and coming towards us, and us coming towards it. And we start showing up as that, because we are the new ancestors, and we need to act accordingly. Here's a quote, you'll know it, some of you, if not all of you. You have to understand that most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. And that's the other thing, is don't get swallowed into, don't get sucked into, don't get taken off your path to try and wake others up. Okay, that is not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility to wake anybody up. Just hold compassion. Something that was very powerfully that I went through, and it is a process, and I had this deep understanding that if you try and wake someone up before they're ready, like literally physically, you try and wake someone up before they're ready, you kind of have a mug of coffee ready for them, and you shake them and you try and wake them up. By the time that you've brought that mug of coffee back over to them, they're fallen back to sleep. So if they're not ready to wake up, they're not ready to wake up. All we can do is absolutely just share from our heart. And ultimately, here's the biggest thing, is to stay in that space, holding that space, and just being a living, breathing example of how we want to live, and we will resonate with those that are absolutely on that same page. And that's what I'm seeing within the communities that I'm honoured to walk amongst, is that collectively there is a group of individuals that are resonating the same values, the same ideas, and that is why I think we've got this two world kind of split happening. And then what we do is we kind of learn those skills, we nourish those resources, we share and add value, and we strengthen that, and we bolt it to the ground. We absolutely totally bolt it to the ground. And then what happens is that just radiates out, which is why you're seeing all over the world these pockets of communities that are birthing. And then what we gently do is we have somewhere for people to become a part of, which is why I think the open rights and open communities were being nudged by the innate to create a space where we can sit and we can share our collective stories and our medicine stories, and we can continue to move from harm to healing. You know, somewhere that is wholesome, to be able to sit and come back to self, and come back to community, to come back to tribe, kin and clan. Last thing I'm going to share with you is birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. And that's that whole thing of, you know, don't try to convince, just hold space, live from example, and be that best version of self, and the rest follows. You know, I've shared with those very close to me what I feel to be really important, and let the rest